And we are live again. Welcome back to the European SmackDown, and we are getting ready for the second game of this tournament between Crime City Rollers wearing the purple and yellow, and wearing the black and yellow is Glasgow Roller Derby.
It really is. Well, I am the lovely Beatrix, and joining me on live stream,
Whipping Red Siren.
So this is the second game, day one of European SmackDown. Crime City, as Whipping Red Siren says, in the purple, Glasgow in the black and yellow, and already we're seeing Crime with the lead.
Ankafar there on her first scoring pass, balancing on that line, is pushed over at between turn 2 and 3, and is now able to finish her scoring pass, putting 4 points on the board.
Marshall Lawler's jamming for Glasgow. You can't tell that right now because she's star stashing. Knocked out by number 22, recycled right the way back as Ankafar through the pack yet again for a further 5 points for Crime.
And Crime City is showing some resistance there, or giving a lot of resistance for the jammer with the helmet cover in hand. Lawless is having to go back to the pivot line while Ankafar comes around for another scoring pass, but she is getting a back block penalty and needs to sit down in the penalty box.
Yeah, Lawless really feeling the pain of Crime here. They're just knocking her out and recycling her all the way back. This might be the opportunity, though, that they need. Power jam to Glasgow. Right now, Lawless still with Star in hand, taking the space around the outside, coming up against some resistance from Juicy Butter. Knocked out. She's going to be recycled back. Juicy Butter off to the penalty box. But Lawless once again being took to the very back of the pack. Hard to say first thing in the morning. 1-3-3-7 Trujette forcing that recycle. Jam comes to an end. Crime City with the jammer back on track.
No points on the board yet for Glasgow. And for Crime City, lining up as jammer now is Curly Whore. And mind you, that means hair.
Yes, for all you uneducated out there. Well, Curly Whore certainly making an impact. Captain for Crime City, she's picked up lead. And we can see also number 7, Sarah McMillan for Glasgow. She's the jammer. Knocked to the inside, recycled back. This is obviously the play that Crime City are going for, keeping Glasgow's jammer at bay, forcing that recycle back. Curly Whore takes advantage, 5 points on the board there.
And she makes it look so easy.
No. I know, she really does. Around the outside, one-footed. Curly Whore being recycled back now by Glasgow as Sarah McMillan still in the mix on her initial pass. Curly Whore, one left to pass. It's Captain Watson. Further 5 points there for Crime. Not Captain Watson, I just lied and made that up, I'm sorry.
And Crime City's kicks is being sent to the penalty box for a cutting the track, while Curly Whore
just
one-footed
there, one-footed. It's like a breeze, a one-footed walk in the park right now for Curly Whore.
And she's pushing the defense forward. They need to bridge that gap to be able, and we have a star pass happening for Glasgow.
Yep, Devil's Advocate picking up that star for Glasgow. Curly Whore calling off the jam. No points to Glasgow.
And Crime City is at 37 already with 2 jams played.
So Crime coming out strong, but what else would we expect? They are the tournament hosts. They're going to want to show in front of their home crowd. And I have to tell you, what a home crowd it is. For those of you at home, obviously we're still early in the day of this first day of the SmackDown tournament. But Crime City's fans have got brass instruments, they've got shakers, they've got maracas, they've got triangles, and they are singing the song of their people.
Yeah, and everybody's holding papers in their hands and having the lyrics of the songs they written. And maybe you can hear some singing in the background while we have a game going on.
We do. Number 3, Prince Sophia, lead jammer for Crime City. Takes a hit from number 18, Siobhan Sinclair. Doesn't knock her out though. She's got 5 points on the board for Crime.
And kicks and shoot it, playing tough defense there for Crime City.
Megan Hyman jamming for Glasgow. She's stashing that star to get on through the pack. 1 left to pass now, but 1-3-3-7. Suzette up at front. Number 9 kicks also in attendance. 40 in the recycle back as Prince makes it through the pack. A further 5 points for Crime.
And again, a star pass happening in the Glasgow team to maybe force off that call. And there we go. Call off made by Prince Sophia. No points scored for Glasgow, but another 4 points added to the score of Crime City Rollers.
So Glasgow really finding it tough out there. Crime City from the very beginning are keeping Glasgow's jammers at bay, forcing them out, forcing that recycle, and that's really tiring.
Yes.
Really tiring. How that's going to play out for the rest of the game will be interesting.
And we are on with the 4th jam in this game with Hannah P jamming for Crime City Rollers. Skater that has a hearing problem, so big signals from the jammer ref towards her that she made a back block penalty, so she needs to sit down in the penalty box.
And so then this is a power jam for Glasgow. Number 2, Jess E. Scar is jamming for Glasgow. Sort of suffering the same fate. 1 left to pass though up front, number 20, that is Trippy, which she does. Glasgow out of the pack and ready to make a scoring pass.
Yeah, those Crime City blockers just slipping on this floor, making it
Jessie
easier.
Scar with the apex jump, points on the board for Glasgow, 5 points there.
Hannah Pay back on the track for Crime City, and an easy pass there. That is 5 points added for Crime City.
Well, Choutette and Vix, that terrible twosome coming up against Jessie Scar as she looks to grab some more points. They're blocking her way.
And Hannah Pay, another scoring pass, rather easy. She just goes for that link, and again, they have to let her go because otherwise they will get a multiplayer block. But it seems
very easy for them right now. Yeah,
yes.
Hannah Pay just found that space on the inside line in the last pass and wasn't challenged at all. Jessie Scar though is being challenged. Number
Definitely.
79, that's Goldie Blocks, all up in her grill. Knocks to the inside, recycle back. Knocked to the outside now. Number 1 below me, forcing that recycle back as Hannah Pay looking to get another pass, but jam comes to an end. Well, 8 points on the board for Glasgow there, so they're finally off the starting blocks. They're getting some points.
But 75 points for Crime City on the other hand.
Yeah.
That with just 4 jams done.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
So Glasgow at 39 in the flat track seedings and Crime City at 25. Flat track tells us that for every 5 points Glasgow scores, Crime City is expected to score 8. Well, I don't think that's quite worked out.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Maybe the Glasgow can reset a little bit and work out towards that prediction. It's now Enkafor in the front, jamming for Crime City.
And Marshall Lawless for Glasgow. Marshall picking up lead jammer for the first time in this game, and she couldn't look happier about it.
And the pivot for Glasgow lost her jammer or her helmet cover at this point. So we have a pivot cover on the track at this moment.
Glasgow, though, with a beautiful bit of defence, cleared the way for Marshall Lawless. Not once, but twice. Points on the board, even more now for Glasgow. 17 points, so a 9-point jam there, holding Crime City at 0.
And quite a full penalty box at this moment. 2 blockers from both teams lining up, and 2 in the penalty box, with Dyke Stalker standing for Crime City. Shoot It just sat down, and for Glasgow we have sitting down Fever and Lindsay Watson.
Of course, the European SmackDown is sponsored by Sucker Punch, Europe's finest roller derby shop, owned and operated by derby skaters. They're more than just a store, they're a workshop where they can mount and fix your skates.
And they are also here at the venue, of course, as the main sponsor, showing all their nice derby goodies.
But you know, you're not here at the venue, so how else could you get to them? Well, of course, they do have a website, because this is like the 21st century.
Yes.
Is it the 21st century?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
I know you have a problem with numbers.
I have a problem with numbers. I have a problem with time travel. Absolutely. But they will help you whether you speak English, French, Dutch, German, and Spanish.
Yeah, they don't really talk Spanish. They understand a little bit of Spanish. So if you want them to understand you correctly, try another language. So Curly Hoare in the front is lead jammer for Crime City Rollers.
Sarah McMillan with the star for Glasgow makes it around the outside, but she's a full lap behind Curly Hoare. Curly Hoare with a beautiful apex jump, picks up 4 points, calls the jam dead.
And Dyke Stalker back in the penalty box, while now Shoot It is standing, and Fever and Watson are now both standing in the penalty box. So next jam again, starting with 2 blockers each on the track.
Micro pack then for both teams here.
Prince Sophia is lined up for Crime City.
And it's number 4, Megan Hyman for Glasgow. Prince getting through the pack first, but Megan Hyman hot on her wheels.
And we see the blockers resetting. Shoot It blocking one of the blockers from Glasgow out to create a small hole, or at least some disturbance of their wall. And
Prince doing a great job there. Called the jam off as Megan did take the lead going into that pack. 1 point picked up by Crime, 0 points to Glasgow. Crime City on 80, Glasgow on 17. If you've just joined us, Crime City Rollers are in the purple, Glasgow in the black and yellow. I am, of course, the lovely Beatrix.
Oh, so lovely. And my name is Whippen Red Siren. So we see Hannah Pay getting the lead for Crime City Rollers, while the jammer General Strike for Glasgow is being pushed over that inside line, stepped in back inbounds, and created a cutting the track penalty there.
I think she tried to save it. She thought she'd saved it, but no.
Had too much momentum.
Yeah.
Could not stop it from happening. So this is a power jam with 3 blockers on the track for Crime City. They still manage to give enough offense for Hannah Pay to finish that scoring pass, put another 5 points on the board.
Yeah, Hannah Pay really getting the support from her teammates. They're coming in and rushing those walls, trying to break up Glasgow to allow an easy pass. Now, though, she's on her own, as it is General Strike back on track and in play for Glasgow. Crime City building that wall of purple to keep her at bay. 2 left to pass up front now. Number 20, Trippy, last line of defence. Glasgow's jammer breaking through, but Hannah picking up a few more points for Crime, calls off the jam.
And now we see below me sitting in the penalty box for Crime City Rollers. I'm trying to say two things at a time because I wanted to say formerly known as below me. She transferred from Stockholm Roller Derby towards Crime City. We've seen quite a lot of transfers between these two teams, and we will see some other people skating for Stockholm that used to skate for Crime City.
They're just interchangeable, aren't they? But what's not interchangeable right now is that Crime are on the winning streak. It is number 21, Ankafar, jamming for them. Glasgow with number 42, Marshall Lawless at the back of that pack, once again at the mercy of Crime City's defensive lines.
Crime City does seem to make quite some penalties though, but also Glasgow has not been able to stay out of the box. And as I mentioned, Schutet is back in the penalty box. So that must be 3 or 4 penalties for her already.
Well, 0 points in that jam to Glasgow.
And I do hear another penalty call, forearm penalty on the captain of Glasgow, Shorty McLightning Pants. And a third blocker for Crime City Rollers is coming towards the penalty box, is sent back on the track because the penalty box is full.
Well, it's certainly getting a lot of action this weekend already. Okay, number 100, Curly Hall, jamming for Crime City, but she's off.
She slipped, and while slipping,
picked up
hit
a low
somebody. Block? Yeah, picked up a low block penalty. So this is a power jam for Glasgow, and also got the lead with that. Oh, nice little.
Good work there by Sarah McMillan, number 7. Little bit of an apex jump just to get over the 2-line defense from Crime City. She's picking up some points there already. 5 points on the board for Glasgow. Coming up now against the 2 blockers for Crime.
Kicks and shoot it. Kicks on her way to the penalty box now though. And Curly Hoare back on the track facing 4 blockers in black jerseys with 1 blocker to help her. But she is able to get through though.
Sarah McMillan there, just around the outside, absolutely no problems, no challenge from the Crime City blockers. Picked up a further 4 points, comes in again, calls off the jam as Curly Hoare hits the back of that pack. Well, that looks like another 3 points there. Taking that jam up to 17 for Glasgow, but I think also 17 there to Crime City.
And also a penalty for Curly Hoare at the end of that jam. She's on her way to the penalty box. So this next jam will start as a power jam with Megan Hindman jamming for Glasgow. A little adjustment of the points. 4 points scored there by Glasgow. That last scoring pass, making the score now 35 against 111.
So the last time these two teams played was in 2012. Crime City took the win then with 171 GRD. Glasgow Roller Derby 145.
And the point differential seems a little bit bigger this time.
Yeah. Sarah Hyndman looking to change that though. Fights her way for lead. Of course, this power jam in favour of Glasgow will be an opportunity for them to decrease that point differential.
And as soon as Megan Hyndman comes close to the pack, you see her teammates charging to get her some help into the pack, but Crime City Rollers,
well, they're not going to give up easy there, are they? Kicks came in and certainly disrupted. Suzette, though, with a huge hit on Hyndman. forced to right the way back and to be recycled. Hyman calls off the jam, but not before picking up 4 more points for Glasgow. Crime City with 0 there.
Yes, Curly Hoare there coming from the penalty box and finishing her initial pass quite easily. But of course, Hyman saw her come in and called off the jam, keeping her at 0 points.
So don't forget, you can use the hashtag #2 SmackDown if you're watching. Tell us what you think about everything. Whether you think it's pretty awesome.
And we are waiting to start the next jam with the referees huddling together in the center of the track. This is an official timeout, and that gives us a chance to give a shout out to another sponsor, Quad Skate Shop, Europe's original brick and mortar roller derby equipment supplier. Quad Roller Skate Shop has the best selection and most stock of any store on the continent. And of course that is owned by Master Blaster, and we saw her warm up with London Roller Girls.
Yeah, a recent transfer,
yes.
So might be exciting to see her this weekend. You can see on your screen right now the Crime City Rollers supporters, those brass bands, and like I said before, the arena is slowly starting to fill up. Great to see so many people here supporting roller derby in Europe.
And you just got a view of that little brass band happening. The audience from Crime City, the fans.
Well, they might be tiny, but their noise is mighty, let me tell you. Brass band music sure does travel.
It does. It sure does. And we still are discussing some things on the track, as it seems, with Head Rev, Metal Ed.
So if you've just joined us, you may have missed the first game, London versus Detroit. And the score there, London brawling 3-4-5, Detroit 79. So London taking the win. We're here with Crime City Rollers versus Glasgow. Crime City in the purple.
Excuse me, guys.
Oh, we've got a moment from our
clarification.
The official timeout was to review contact that was an avoidable block from a skater exiting the penalty box into a skating official. This conduct is deemed expulsion worthy, so Purple 9 will take no further part in this game.
And that is kicks.
Okay, an expulsion happening there. And I did see that happening right in front of us coming from the penalty box. And there was contact that was avoidable, as mentioned. So she is expelled from this game. And of course that is number 9, Kicks.
So interesting now to see who'll take her place. Kicks and Toujette work incredibly well as a blocking duo. We're about ready to start back. Number 3, Prince Sophia, wearing the star for Crime City. And that is number 2, Jessie Scarf for Glasgow.
So Crime City seems to have some adjustments happening, and a penalty needs to be served. So replacement, I am presuming, for Kicks, perhaps.
That looks like number 800, Bonnie Bumper.
Yes.
Bonnie Bumper?
Bunny Bumper.
Bumper. Bumper.
Yes.
See, when I say it with my northern accent, it just sounds like bumper. It's nowhere near as exotic as it really is. I can only apologise for being born in Manchester. I won't apologise for being born in Manchester.
Well, talking about Manchester Airport has had some troubles, so we have one announcer coming in rather late because of her flight being cancelled last night.
Absolutely, and some officials not able to make it at all
Yes.
because the rainy city turned into the snowy city. Right now, back to the action. As I said, number 3, Prince Sophia, wearing the star for Crime City. She's up against a front 3 wall, takes a jump to the inside line, finding space.
And that was a very strong wall from Glasgow, keeping Prince Sophia busy in turn 1, but she managed to break it up and take advantage of that space.
Yeah, 8-2-3 Cara Viola, a great blocker coming in as last line for Prince Sophia, through with 5 points. Jessie Scarr, though, still on her initial pass, looking for those spaces. Number 1 below me, blocking that entrance. Prince Sophia, yet again, through the pack, another 5 points on the board for Crime.
And I don't know about you, if you have seen these teams play a lot in the last few years. I've seen Crime City play quite some games, and it's amazing to see the growth of their play. I haven't seen Glasgow play that much. I presume you might have seen them more than me. I've been in the Scandinavian countries watching some roller derby quite a lot, and it's always fun to watch Crime City. And Prince Sophia again finishing a scoring pass, putting another 5 points on the board.
She's just racking up those points. Jessie Scarr still not out on her initial pass, but we're seeing a star pass to the pivot.
That's Shorty, the captain of Glasgow, while Prince Sophia finishes yet another scoring pass. And
Crime
the
City just
defense,
swarming around.
again resetting in front of that jammer and making them work so hard. And even with that star pass, not able to finish that initial pass. Crime City really showing their defense, showing off their defense, and also already almost a 100-point differential.
Team timeout called by Glasgow. Shall I recap that?
Yes,
for
please.
you?
I was distracted a
Team
little bit.
timeout called by Glasgow, just going into the 13th jam. 9.5 minutes left of this first half. Crime City versus Glasgow. Crime City, of course, in the purple if you've just joined us. Glasgow in the black. And if you've got any interesting thoughts on the European SmackDown, the first WFTDA recognised D1 tournament, then please use the hashtag #2SmackDown. Share your thoughts with us on Twitter.
Maybe you have something to say about that expulsion that happened for Crime City. Kicks being sent off for an avoidable contact with an skating official. Coming back from the penalty box, she hit one of the referees on the outside, and it was deemed avoidable.
Yeah, but that takes Crime City down to 13 players in the first half already, so they have to be really careful with those penalties. And what we've certainly seen in this first half from both teams is they are penalty heavy.
Yes.
They are not holding back.
No, they are not holding back. They are wanting it, and that will get you on that edge of what is legal.
Okay, back to the action. Number 42, Marshall Lawless with the star for Glasgow. She is looking to find space in the pack.
Hanape is out of the pack first. She's lead jammer for Crime City Rollers.
Yeah, Hanape though, forced out, recycled back, and still picked up the lead. Glasgow really struggling to keep her at bay, to contain her when she is on track. We're seeing that 5 points right now On the board for Crime City is Marshall Lawless being recycled right the way back yet again.
And the strong triangle wall there from Shoot It, Stitch and Dyke Stalker. Now also joined by sexual harassment. Coming back from the penalty box, Hannah Pei going around for another scoring pass. And no initial pass finished by Glasgow, yet we do see a star pass has happened because Shorty now trying to get through that defense. She is recycled back, almost back to turn 2, and has to go through that wall of purple yet again.
Crime City are just relentless on the jammers for Glasgow. They are literally not giving them an inch of space. Every time they come in to make a pass, they find they're blocked, they're recycled back. You know, and this is the kind of stuff that just makes you hang your head eventually.
Oh, yes, I know. I'm a jammer. And I know how devastating that can feel, that you have to go back again and again and again.
But Glasgow themselves are not letting their heads drop. We've got 7 minutes left of this first half. They're keeping going, they're keeping the pressure up. Certainly in that last jam we saw that Crime City's jammer did come up against some defence, did come up against that wall of black and had to fight to get those points. 24 points there for Crime in that last jam.
And we see Sarah McMillan for Glasgow Roller Derby with the star on the helmet, and Enkafor for Crime City. Enkafor is moved over that inside line by those blockers, but that is a penalty for Devil's Advocate.
Enkafor makes it through, picks up lead. Sarah McMillan was so close there because she is, I think, the only jammer in Glasgow so far to get lead jammer. So she's got that taste of glory. She wants some more, and she's really fighting through the pack, being a physical jammer and blocker. But Enkafor through on the inside, very little challenge. 5 points picked up by Crime.
Some nice offense there to help her, but Below Me was able to get in front of her again, and so she is still stuck in the pack. We see her grabbing that star off her helmet, holding it behind her back, and that is a successful star pass towards Devil's Advocate. But of course they have seen that from Crime City and call off the jam before she is even getting close to the pack to score points.
That was a sneaky star pass by Glasgow. I thought I was watching Sarah McMillan all the way through that star pass, and I was thinking that is just a stash. She's still got it. She looked like she had it behind her back.
And it was grabbed.
And actually it was grabbed, so
yep.
Sneaky.
It's a stealth star pass.
A stealth star pass.
A nice one.
Try saying that in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the action, and that is, of course, number 100 Curly Hall jamming for Crime. She's joined by Megan Hyman for Glasgow, but Curly Hall is your lead jammer.
And she is already scoring points, going for her second scoring pass. We see some marvelous blocking again. A star stash by Hindman, and Curly Horde just cruising around, putting another 5 points on the board for Crime City. Yeah. Okay. What can we say? She just jukes one way and fools them, and then she can just skate along without having to make any contact at all. And now yet again, while Megan Hindman
still at the back there, yeah.
Still turn 2, being recycled back into turn 2, and now having to face Stitch and Shoot It and Juicy, and they are just keeping her in the pack. And star pass happening towards Shorty. Shorty was pushed over the line, and with that momentum she had, she stepped back in bounds and picking up a cutting the track penalty. This is now a power jam with Curly Hoare in the front there, finishing, I don't know how many scoring passes she's made now, but a lot. They are at the 200-point mark now, and she is able to put another scoring pass in, and it looks like it's just not possible to take away that momentum from her.
I really find that when I'm watching Curly Hoare as well, is it feels effortless. When I watch her, she doesn't seem to break stride. She certainly never slows down. She hits the pack and she just sees those spaces that even the blockers, you know, they don't see it that they've left those spaces themselves. And so I guess she's quite hard to defend against because you just don't know where she's going to go, but she has it in her mind.
And she's so stable.
Yeah.
I mean, even when she does make some contact, it doesn't break her stride, as you say.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And we now see Prince Sophia becoming the lead jammer for Crime City Rollers. And
789, General Strike for Glasgow. A General Strike pushing forward, last line of defense, number 20, and that is trippy for Crime City, but she's knocked out, recycled back. Prince Sophia through the pack, 5 points on the board for Crime.
And this is one of those moments that you think, as a defending team, is it working, your defense, or should you go all offense? Because it looks like the jammers from Crime City just don't have big problems at all with going through that defense. Prince Sophia now hits that wall with a little bit.
Yeah, there's a bit of a triangle of doom going on there.
Yeah.
8-2-3, Cara Viola in attendance, certainly slowed down, but didn't stop. Another 5 points for Crime. And we've seen a star pass to Shorty for Glasgow.
Yeah, Shorty back on the track after serving her penalty. And now trying to get through the pack, while Prince Sophia scores another 5 points.
Prince Sophia just slowly taking the front of the pack. Glasgow with a triangle of doom for her to get through. Cara Viola back up front and working hard. 1-8-2, Nicola Blocker Glory also there.
And below me is that one person that goes back all the time and makes it difficult for the jammer to keep moving forward on the track. We're still stuck. They haven't passed turn 3 yet in this game.
Jutet coming in and offering some help to Prince as she goes in for her last pass. 2 points picked up.
And
so
with
22 points.
Just 35 seconds left on the clock. Big chance that this will be the last jam of the first period, with 39 points for Glasgow. They've been stuck on their 39 100 points ago from Crime City. I remember that it was 137 against 39, and now it's 237 against 39.
And I think you're absolutely right. What are Glasgow going to do in this half-time about what's going down on track? They're not able to spring their jammer out. They're not able to keep Crime City's jammer at bay, so they need to switch it up. They need to go to a different plan.
They need to prevent those multiple scoring passes because the points just keep going up for Crime City. And even if you can have just one scoring pass and get your jammer out, it's going to... we see Shorty on her way to the penalty box. So apparently there was a penalty called on her at the end of that last jam. For what did you say the penalty was?
I didn't.
Insubordination?
No, I didn't quite catch it.
Okay. We will try to update you on that after the halftime, when we will have a chance to look at the penalty board. And jamming now for Crime City, it's Hanape, and she becomes lead jammer. And of course this is a power jam, so Glasgow is showing full defense here. And now Crime City coming in for the offense with Schuttert in the front, creating enough motion within the Glasgow defense for Hannah Pay to get out of the pack and score 5 points. Schuttert again coming in for the offense, but Glasgow is able to get in front of Hannah Pay again, but Hannah Pay is fast enough to get around that last line of defense to finish that scoring pass, and she is already back in the pack to score points.
Shorty back on track and in play for Glasgow. Takes a hit, recovers, but she's at the back of that pack. That looks like Touchette and number 22, Juicy, tag teaming her. And indeed, Shorty picks up a cut track penalty. She will spend another 30 seconds in that penalty box. Hannah P though, around the inside, a further 5 points for Crime City. And Glasgow with a blocker also off to that penalty box. Meaning a micro pack going into the second half as we finish the first half of the second game here, the first day of the European SmackDown.
20 points scored there by Hannah Pay in that last gem of the first period. We, of course, will have a short break now and be back in 15 minutes to show you the second period of this game between Crime City Rollers, the hosts of the European SmackDown, against Glasgow Roller Derby. We will see you back in a while.
Okay, so we're back, the second half of the second game of the first day of the European SmackDown, the first WFTDA recognised tournament, D1 tournament. Hello. I am, of course, the lovely Beatrix.
And I'm Whippin' Red Siren. Hi there.
So second half of Crime City Rollers versus the Glasgow Roller Derby. Let me know again, what was the score going into half time, Whippin'?
257 points for Crime City Rollers and 39 points for Glasgow Roller Derby. And I can give you some stats of that first period as well.
I love stats. Give
the highest scoring jammers for Crime City. Hannah Pay scored 81 points. Prince Sophia scored 78 points. Curly Hoare scored 63 points. And Ankafar scored 35 points. And for Glasgow, it's Sarah McMillan with 18 points, Marshall Lawless with 8 points, Jessica with 8 points, and Megan Heinman with 4 points.
Okay, so we know where we're at.
Yep.
You can tell us where you're at. Tell us how you're feeling about everything. Hashtag talk the number 2 SmackDown. Use that on your Twitter, on your Facebook. Let us know how you're doing. If you missed the first game today, that was of course London Brawling versus Detroit. The scores there were London 345, Detroit 79. But right now we're about ready. Oh, we are ready to go back to the action. Crime City in the purple, Glasgow in the black, and it is Crime City's number 3, Prince Sophia, with lead.
So she is looking for hiring her score probably because she's only 3 points behind Hannah Pay with the highest scoring jammers for Crime City, and already passing that now. And back on the track is Shorty coming from the penalty box, and it's
a bit of a micro pack out there for Glasgow, isn't it? I mean, we saw both teams starting on a 2-2, so not great. But penalties were heavy in the first half for both teams. Glasgow, however, their captain Shorty on 6 penalties right now going into the second half, and she's been a key player so far in their defence and also in their jamming. Taking the star a number of times.
Yeah, but it does has cost her 6 penalties already, and it seems like she's on her way to the penalty box right now.
So that'll be her 7th. Number 42, Lawless, took the star. She was pivot, but she's also off to the penalty box. Cut track penalty assessed. So Glasgow, without a jammer on track, without a pivot on track, and they're going to be one less skater on track. Now that just kind of evens it up from what we saw with Crime City in the first half. Number 9, Kicks, was expelled. They felt that there was an avoidable block.
Against skating official, yes.
Yeah, so she was expelled. So we're taking it down 13 apiece now for the teams. And Prince Sophia just rolling around that track. Very little resistance.
And very effective offense there from her teammates. And
so taking the score to 2-9-1, and we started the first half on 2:52.
57.
2:57. I'm sorry.
That's my handwriting. Sorry.
It's like a 34-point difference. That's what I'm going to go. 34 points in that last jam. Might be wrong. Don't have a calculator in front of me or an abacus. And as we all know, math is not my strong point, but puns are. So stay tuned. Okay, next jam.
Anchor 4 for Crime City Rollers is Lee Jammer. She just crawls through that wall, and it is Lawless back on the track, throwing that pivot cover towards her team bench, because she is a jammer now, coming back from the penalty box after that star pass in the last jam.
But Anchor 4 not allowing Lawless to get very far. Goes through the pack, picks up 3 points and calls that jam. Doesn't allow Lawless to pick up any points. And Glasgow at this point really desperate for points. But this is what happens in Crime City. I think are playing a very clever game. They're putting Glasgow under so much pressure that they're going to go for those high tariff moves. They're going to want to see a result. They're going to want to get those points. And with that comes the danger of being penalty heavy.
Yes.
Now, if Crime City can reel in their own penalties and keep it clean, they're going to be on, a winning streak, which they already are. But they're going to really see the benefit.
Hannah Pay through the pack and Lee Jammer for Crime City, while Sarah McMillan
in mix, yeah. But Hannah Pay already threw 5 points on the board for Crime in this jam. Sarah McMillan still in the mix up front. Crime City literally swarming over her here. And the band from Crime City supporters has started up in the arena. We are starting to fill out. This is the second half of the second game today. And, the support so far has been amazing and rowdy. McMillan still on her initial pass.
And Glasgow was more successful with holding Hannah Pay back, but it is costing them a multiplayer block penalty call on Watson. And another Glasgow blocker on her way to the penalty box.
So
and star pass in progress. Glasgow is now Devil's Advocate, holding that jammer cover in her hand while trying to pass Shoot It, Dyke Stalker and Stitch. Now last line of defense is Dyke Stalker. Devil's Advocate is really trying hard. Shoot It is able to get in front of her as well, and Stitch is also again in front. So now she is facing again 3 of those blockers, pushing hard on them, but she is blocked over the outside line there between turns 3 and 4 and is recycled all the way back to the straightaway. Now again, that 3 wall in front of her, losing all of the helmet covers while doing it. And Shutet is very kind and polite to bringing those helmet covers back to their bench.
She really was.
Yes.
Avascate literally having the helmet covers knocked off her head. Not from a high block, just from the force of the block she was receiving. And we did see some excellent defensive work. McMillan obviously passed the star over to Avascate, became a blocker in the pack and was really active there. Maybe she needs to go into the blocking rotation a bit more and off that jammer rotation just to help out the team in that regard. Curly Hall, though, back on track and jamming for Crime City. She is your lead jammer. Meg Hyman for Glasgow. Glasgow in the black, if you've just joined us. Crime City in the purple, and Curly Hall with 5 points on the board already for Crime. Megan Hyman with a star stash.
Curly Hoare back in the pack for another scoring pass, is able to get out for another 5 points. Hindman recycle back again and over that inside line this time.
I mean, that recycling game that Crime City are playing is absolutely on point. They are giving nothing away. They lose the jammer, they recycle to the front in this instance. They're ready to pick her up as she comes out of the pack, which they do.
And now Glasgow is doing the same thing to Curly Hoare. They haven't gotten the chance to do that very many times, but now they were successful with recycling Curly Hoare back. Curly now getting some help from Goldie Blocks and is blocked over the outside line there in turn 4. So we do see successful defense from Glasgow now.
Yeah, number 18, Siobhan Sinclair with that hit out and force back, meaning Curly Hoare for one of the first times, as you say, is actually having to come up against that defensive work. And we did wonder at half-time, what would Glasgow review, what would they change? And I think this is it. They're looking at becoming more aggressive in their defensive work. We've seen a star pass to number 13, that's Cara Viola, but she's also picked up a cut track penalty. So, power jam for Crime City. Glasgow will now have to try and neutralise that against them. Jam comes to an end.
And we keep seeing those penalties happening right after that star pass.
Yeah.
So the original pivot becoming jammer, and then as a jammer picking up a penalty, and a lot of them are cutting the track penalties. So it's been quite harmful for Glasgow, and a lot of jammer penalties in that way. So now it's number 3, Prince Sophia, jamming for Crime City Rollers in this power jam. Below me, blocker from Crime City coming back from the penalty box. And
Jessie Scarr on the track there for Glasgow as a pivot. Now, we've seen her as a jammer throughout this, so I'm wondering if they're just setting her up for, and indeed I think that is going to be the case for when Cara Viola comes back on track. And indeed, Cara Viola with the start pass to Jessie Scarr. Jessie Scarr now with 2 to pass up front, joined by number 1 below me with 53, Stalker and Choutette also in attendance. A real triangle of doom. Jessie Scarr knocked to the outside, recycled right the way back. It's Prince Sophia at the front, pushing through past number 507. Phoenix picks up further points for Crime City. Jessie Scarr just riding the hips of Crime City players, but breaks through the pack. Prince Sophia checking in with the bench, calls off the jam. Glasgow so close there, so close.
And so much awareness on the Crime City side of this game. Every time that jammer is recycled back, and once they get through the pack, there's blockers in front of that Glasgow jammer again.
Yeah.
They are so on top of their game.
Their recycling is very, very natural, very fluid.
Yes.
You know, they don't seem to have a moment between thinking about recycling and doing it, which is fantastic. Right now we've got Lawless out on track for Glasgow. And she's joined
Hanapi.
Yeah, Hanapi really finding it difficult, manages to get past Watson as the last line of defence to pick up lead. But that did take nearly 25 seconds to break through the pack there. Coming in for her first scoring pass with ease though. 5 points picked up by Crime. Lawless at the back of that wall of purple, being forced back and recycled yet again.
Hanape again on that outside. Oh, is this time not able to stay inbounds. Takes a tumble and is being recycled back to the jammer line. Now going into that pack again with Glasgow Jammer on her way to the penalty box with the cover in hand.
Cut track penalty there for Lawless. So once again, a power jam in favour of Crime City. Glasgow going to have to defend against this, but Crime City are literally disrupting any wall that starts to form. 2 left down on track up front for Glasgow.
Recycling Hanape back to turn 2. And Hanape now looking for some help from her teammates. Jammer for Glasgow back on the track, and Crime City blockers are not fooled by the Jammer panty in hand. They do block her, and it does cost them a penalty for one of their blockers. Shoot, no, that's not shoot, that is Trippy, who was the last line of defense there, caught that Jammer, but the jam was called off. No points scored there in that scoring pass, but we are now.
I have to say though, great work in that jam by the Glasgow blockers. There was some excellent defense towards the end of it. They strung the front of the pack out. They kept Crime City Jammer at bay for as long as possible, and you absolutely cannot take that away from them. Glasgow right now have number 7 Sarah McMillan jamming for them, but that is 21 Ankafar who is lead for Crime City. Sarah McMillan.
And they are showing great roller derby, but Crime City is just stronger, and they are so strong that they are not having a chance to score any points. I mean, how long has it been on 39 points for Glasgow now? I think that was even before the end of the first quarter of this game.
Sinclair showing some promise towards the end for Ankafar, but quite a good thing for Glasgow right now. Ankafar with a forearms penalty sat in the penalty box. Star pass to number 182. That is, of course, Nikki Block, her glory. She's out of the pack and ready to score some points. Power jam to Glasgow.
And Glasgow working really hard to keep one of those blockers from Crime City behind them, and that way making it possible to get that pass that get her out of the pack. But 2 blockers back on the track from the penalty box for Crime City. Now 3 blockers making her life miserable.
And Ankafar back on track and in play. Sarah McMillan leading that triangle of doom against her. Ankafar knocked to the inside, recycle back. But Glory riding the hips yet again of Crime City's blockers. Just struggling to find a space in the fluid four wall that is Crime City. Takes a shirt whip from McMillan. 1 left to pass up front now, but she makes it round. Number 22, Juicy, was the last line of defence. Points on the board for Glasgow. That's 5 in total. Well, what a hard-fought 5 points that was.
Yes, it was a hard-fought points, but you can see that it will help them get their spirits up again. The bench area is cheering for their teammate, and we have a team timeout for Crime City while we have 15 minutes left on the clock. So we're entering the 4th quarter of this game with a score of 44 points for Glasgow against 382 for Crime City.
And don't forget, coming up next, it's London versus Stockholm. That's due to start at 2 p.m. If you missed this morning's scores, London versus Detroit. London 345, Detroit 79. Now you can tell us everything about how you're feeling about this tournament so far. We are, of course, on day 1 of the European SmackDown. So tweet us, Facebook us, use the hashtag #2SmackDown. Tell us how you're feeling.
Talk to SmackDown. Let us know.
And probably just enough time as well to mention Sucker Punch, our tournament sponsors. They have the largest range of in-stock items, so you can walk in the door with the wheels and walk out the door with the wheels, skates, protective gear you want, or you can check them out online because we are in the 21st century, as we established earlier. You can find them online and they'll be able to help you out with simple and fast shipping.
And maybe also tweet us your choice of MVP blocker or jammer.
Yeah.
Because the audience here will get a chance to vote for MVP blocker and MVP jammer. And maybe you at home have an opinion about that as well, and we might be able to put your opinion in. We are back on the track with Prince Sophia getting lead jammer for Crime City, playing in the purple, and Glasgow's jammer number 4, Megan Hyndman in black.
Megan Hyndman with the star stash or star pass, I'm not sure. I think star stash, but she was so close to Devil's After Skate. Is she made it happen? No, I think she is still star stashing Megan Hyndman, 2 to pass up front, and she is fighting on those toe stops to get past, which she does. Number 3, Prince, though, right close by, already 4 points on the board for Crime, calls off the jam, dashes the hopes of Glasgow to pick up any points there.
After checking in with her bench coach, do I call it?
All skaters do, right?
Yeah.
Every skater.
Or at least jammers.
Every jammer. Everybody, just in life, check in with your bench coach. If you don't have one, let us know. Hashtag talk to us. I'm sure we can hook you up with one.
Yeah, I'm a bench coach too.
Oh, there you go.
For our B team, Rotterdam Roller Derby.
You need a bench coach just to get through life.
Yes. Well, you can do that.
I need one. Okay.
Curly Hoare. She has a bench coach as well.
She really does. She also has the lead jammer for Crime City. She is joined on the track by number 2. It is Jessie Scarr. But Curly Hoare jumps around the inside wall. It's not Jessie Scarr.
General Strike.
Thank you, I lied. Curly Hoare jumped around the defense and powered her way through it the second time.
And nice hit, nice clean hit, exactly on that link between those two skaters, opening up that wall, getting through, putting more points on the board for Crime City. They are now at 400 points.
Wowza, 400 to 44. We've got 13 minutes just under left of this second half in the second game. Crime City in the purple, Glasgow in the black. And I have to say again, Curly Hoare, we talked before about how we feel like it's very easy for her. She doesn't make it look like hard work. She finds those spaces. But also as that double threat, that blocker and jammer when she's on the track and in the pack, it's a pretty special skill she's got.
Well, I must say, the jammers for Crime City all make it look so easy. And now we are back with Hannah Pei, and she also now having a little bit more difficulty with the defense there now, but she is lead jammer for Crime City.
30 seconds though to get a lead jammer call in, so Glasgow tightening up that defense in the initial stages really helps them out. But what's not helping them out right now is number 42, Lawless. She's at the back, she's been recycled, not getting a lot of help from her teammates.
And yet again.
Yeah. Crime City just with that knockout recycle back, and Glasgow I guess in that funny position right now. What do? Do they help their jammer out and solely do that and let Crime City just rack up the points, or do they try and stem the flow of points Crime City again against them?
Yeah, it seems like they are still focused on that defense, but the jammers from Crime City, well, they're having a little bit more difficulty. Maybe they are getting tired, or maybe Glasgow is getting tighter.
I think Glasgow are definitely getting tighter. Like I said, 30 seconds to get through the pack and get a lead jammer call.
Yes.
That's certainly a lot slower than in the first half. So Glasgow really are tightening up and now forcing that recycle back, making the jammers work for those points.
And with that recycling back, we do see a failure to reform the pack, though, called on Marshall Lawless.
Star pass though to 182. That is Nikki Blocker Glory. She's holding that star in her hand, trying to push against the defences. No such luck. 4 further points for Crime City, 0 points to Glasgow there. 10 minutes just over left of this second half now. And Crime City was really celebrating. Two front blockers there at the end really kept Glory at bay, and they celebrated that when they finished their jam. They really felt like they've had a good time doing that.
Mm-hmm. And even when you're ahead with this many points, it's still the rush and the good feeling
well,
of,
you're not
we
going to
got
give
her.
up.
Yeah.
Okay, back to it. We've got Sarah McMillan jamming for Glasgow.
And Ankafar already finishing her first scoring pass for Crime City, playing in purple and yellow.
Sarah McMillan taking a hit to the inside, very careful not to pick up a cut track penalty as Ankafar comes around for another scoring pass. Sinclair left to pass, which she does, 5 points on the board. McMillan now coming in to challenge the Crime City wall, pretty much at a standstill. Ankafar through the pack, barely challenged by Glasgow blockers.
And again we see Glasgow taking off that star, and the successful star pass to Devil's Advocate. She is now the jammer for Glasgow, while Ankafar is in the pack. There is 2 points added to the score for Glasgow.
Fantastic.
Because it was a little bit late call off.
Yeah, but it was a really smooth star pass.
Yes.
They timed it really well. Avascape was able to really power around that track. And Ankafar, I don't think really noticed that she was up and coming.
No. Although her bench coach was yelling to call it off. And she did in the end, but yeah, the 2 points were already, or those 2 blockers were already passed. So 2 points added. And now jamming for Crime City is Curly Hoare, and number 4, Megan Heitman for Glasgow. Glasgow having 4 blockers on the track, making it a little bit more difficult than we've seen up till now for Curly Hoare, but she is now lead jammer, and the 4th blocker returning to the track from the penalty box for Crime City. And although with people in the penalty box, Crime City is still showing a lot of strong defense. Heitman pushing against Juicy, shoot it, just able to get her over that line. Below me is looking for maybe a cutting the track penalty call on the jammer there, but she is out of the pack and now on a scoring pass. Curly Hoare calling off the jam after she got pushed over the outside line in turn 3.
Curly Hoare knocked out by Devil's Advocate and then forced to call it off. 3 further points picked up though by Glasgow.
No, Curly.
By Curly. Sorry, 3 further points for Crime City. There looks to be a brief discussion from the Glasgow bench.
We have an easy point differential, 404.
Yes. Easy.
And
easy for somebody else who had math skills, not for me. Okay, let's see. We've got Prince jamming for Crime. She's already out and making waves towards her first scoring pass. Jessie Scarr for Glasgow in the mix still on her initial. Forced to the inside and being recycled. Comes in hot and heavy. Takes a hit out, recycled. Prince Sophia though, already on another scoring pass and approaching the wall of Glasgow.
Pushing forward to get that no pack call, and is successful in that way, but her blockers did not reform the pack soon enough, so we have Bonnie Bampa on her way to the penalty box, but also the jammer for Glasgow.
Yeah, Jessie Scarr off for a cut track penalty. So another power jam for Crime, another power jam for Glasgow to defend against. Now they do have the majority of blockers out on track. But that time, Prince Sophia, just with a little juke and a jive right before she came to that front wall, managed to
have them open up because of that juke and jive, and just could pass untouched.
Untouched indeed. Jessie Scarr looking to return to the track. Prince Sophia, 2-line wall to pass. Glory the last. Amy chases her but runs out of track, called out of play. Jessie Scarr was looking to find space on the outside line, got knocked out, forced recycle back yet again. But Prince Sophia now on her toe stops up the inside line, picks up more points for Crime.
And Crime City is still getting quite a lot of penalties, and I have a sense of maybe somebody hitting 7 penalties right now.
Is that your spider senses tingling? Somebody's hit 7 penalties.
And I see a penalty box official walking towards the center, so we might, I don't know. Sexual harassment is in the penalty box right now.
The scoreboard isn't working in the venue, that's why we have to stop.
Okay, we will have an official timeout right now.
Yeah, we've got an official timeout because in the venue there is no scoreboard.
Ah,
These things happen.
yes.
It's real life.
It's just like life. Sometimes things happen, and they just take you aback a little bit.
So let's talk about the last jam there. So many points scored by Crime City. We're up to
37.
37, there you go. See, I told you I didn't have the maths, but I knew you did. 37 points scored in that last jam. Now, we've talked a lot about the fact that Glasgow, you know, the last jam's a prime example of Prince coming, doing the juke, just getting straight through the middle. But I don't think you can say that Glasgow's heads have dropped at all. I think they're still out there, they're still giving that defence, and we're certainly seeing it stronger in the second half than we did in the first. But their jammers are struggling against Crime City's play.
Yeah, I mean, there's already 200 points scored in this second period, or over 200 points scored in the second period for Crime City, and only 7 points by Glasgow.
And those 7 points must feel, I mean, we're watching it, we're talking about it, they're hard earned. But for Glasgow themselves, they must feel hard earned.
Yes. And we do see the signaling that we are going to start again. The scoreboard is working again here in the venue. And, yep, we see Hanape lined up for Crime City Rollers. And next to her is...
That looks like Lawless, number 42. Marshall Lawless jamming for Glasgow.
Yeah, the one wearing the gloves.
The one wearing the gloves.
Yes.
So Marshall Lawless, thought she found space on the inside line. Didn't quite work out for her. She was knocked out, recycled. Hannah Pay, lead jammer for Crime. And Marshall Lawless now looking for a star pass, I think. Hannah Pay coming in to that front wall. Keeps her feet inbounds. No pass, no penalty.
4 points. But we see that this happening all the time, that the Glasgow Jammer thinks they're through, and we almost think yes, and then that defense from Crime City, that last inch, that last centimeter, they take it and they hit that jammer out.
And that forward recycling they do, absolutely fantastic. Just being able to pick up. We saw it with London earlier, London versus Detroit. London have that skill as well about being able to recycle forward, chase the skater through the pack, pick her up just as she thinks she's been through and can see the light at the end of that pack.
Yeah.
I think we've got a star pass now, and I think we've got it to Advocate 350. She is certainly looking for spaces, and Crime is swarming around her.
And with Crime City shoot it on her way to the penalty box, that created a little bit of space and only 2 blockers blocking her, it is possible for Devil's Escape to get out of the pack.
Well,
And
she's out of the pack and looking to score some points, put on the afterburners, but you know, Hannah Pay, brilliant jammer awareness. I'm sure the bench had brilliant jammer awareness as well.
And you have to know that they have to signal it to her because she is a deaf skater.
Yeah.
So you could hear people like screaming, but she will not hear it. But she was in time and called off the gem before any points added for Glasgow. And Crime City has now passed the 500 mark.
Yeah, 5:07 to 46. 2 minutes, 3 minutes just under left of this second half, the second game here at the European SmackDown. If you've just joined us, well, where have you been? Glasgow in the black at 46, Crime City in the purple 5:07, and it is Ankafar lead Jennifer Kai, but Sarah Marshall makes it out of the pack for perhaps the first time in quite some time.
Sarah McMillan, you mean?
Sarah, what did I call her?
Sarah Marshall.
Oh, just making up skate names. I
Yeah,
apologise.
you're mixing up two. That's
I
okay.
was thinking Sarah McMillan got out of the pack pretty much first time, no recycles, no knockouts, but unfortunately Hannah P was already there and ready to call off the jam whilst picking up a few points for herself. But great work there by Sarah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yes.
Just called her a different name.
Yeah. So Curly Hoare lined up for Crime City.
And Megan Hyman for Glasgow.
And we see the defense from Glasgow working hard, but not able to keep Curly in that pack. She is lead jammer for Crime City. And we have a star pass happening on the Glasgow side of this game. Curly just cruising along again. It's number 91, Amy, who's taking the star for the first time for Glasgow.
Curly Hoare with an apex jump that rocks the venue. I mean, we are filling up here, and I can tell you that was a crowd pleaser.
Oh, apex jumps are always pleasing to any crowd. Or a nice turnaround pass, as she just showed us. And Amy is in the back of the pack again with the defense from Crime City not being distracted by any offensive play from the Glasgow blockers. Curly taking a tumble there right before turn 3.
Advocate with a brilliant late hit out. Curly Hoare coming in behind her. And walls being built. 182 also in attendance. That is, of course, Glory. 923. Or 823, sorry. Cara Viola also looking to slow down or stop Curly Hoare. But Amy suffering the same fate. Number 53, that is Stalker, recycling Amy to the back. Curly Hoare knocked out, recycled. Having a taste of her own medicine there.
Both jammers now stuck in the pack. And that shows that defensive skills on both sides. Curly getting a lot of appreciation from the crowd there.
Well, that's the end of the game.
I guess so.
It really is.
Yes.
We're just waiting for that score to become final. But I thought the last jam, Glasgow's defensive strategy just woke up and worked. It was fantastic. Fortunately, we didn't see that consistently through the game. That's not to say, though, those 46 points picked up by Glasgow, hard earned and well earned. But Crime City with that very convincing win, 5-3-6 to 46.
Yes, a very convincing game by Crime City. And of course, coming into this tournament, they are seeded the 4th in this group of 6. They're 25th ranking for the WFTDA stats. And they might be moving up.
I think so. That was a very convincing win. Of course, if you have just joined us, not had a chance to check out the scores from this morning's game, we had London, Detroit first thing. London winning 345 to 79, and this was Crime City versus Glasgow 536. Come on, get it together. 536 to 46. Coming up next, we do have London versus Stockholm.
Yes. Excited to see that one as well. It's all excitement this weekend. All these good teams, they're playing such great roller derby, and the audience is enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
And they are all taking a little break now, and I guess we are
I
gonna
would
take a
quite
break.
like to take a little break too.
Yeah, you've done 2 in a row. Thank you for that. To fill in for an announcer still arriving late because of cancelled flights.
Yeah.
And hopefully she will join us later today. She was boarded on a flight, so she is on her way. Billy No Skates, we are waiting for you to arrive.
Definitely.
And get some.
Hashtag talk the number 2 SmackDown. Tweet us, Facebook us. Let us know.
Yeah, and maybe give us your votes for best blocker and best jammer of this game, and we might be able to get that into the audience votes for the amazing awards.
Yeah. So I have been the lovely Beatrix,
And my name is Whippin' Red Siren.
and we'll catch you again later on in SmackDown.
Bye.